This is how to change your spark plugs on a 4.7 Dodge Dakota. This is a 2005, the high output engine model. It will vary a little bit if you have a second gen, but really not too much. Main thing would be your airbox is probably going to be different. You may have a different intake, but it's going to be pretty much the same. So whenever you get under your hood, you're going to have your airbox pretty much like that in front of your throttle body there. What you can do is there's going to be right there, there's a 10mm screw, and then there's also one on this side, but there's a little bracket there that clips to, which is right here. This also holds your AC lines in place. This sits right in on that there, right there, and you're gonna have to take that off to get to these ones back here. This is the V8 model, so I have 8. If you have a V6, then you have only 6 plugs you got to change. But so you got your 1 bolt there for your airbox, you got the one on the other side. You might as well just take the bracket off because you're gonna have to anyways. And then you can take off your airbox like you're gonna change your air filter. You pretty much just move that. And you may have a worm clamp like this one, hose clamp style. You might have one of those for your throttle body. Mine is just like the press fit pretty much. So you can just pull that off. And what you're gonna do is, I wouldn't recommend taking off the PCV hoses because they might crack and you might not be able to get them back on and able to seal well. So you can move your airbox, kind of just get it out the way here. I'm starting with the driver's side, bank 1. And so you'll have 8 coil packs. They all look like this. And then here's one that I've got off right now. This is what it looks like. End of the spark plug goes in there. And then, so the way you disconnect this connector, you just push this little clip down and you kind of wiggle it. You may need like a screwdriver to twist it to get some more leverage to get it started if it's old and crusty. Kind of like this one is, but that's how you get the wire off. This first one, you don't need to take it off. It is recommended though, because you don't want to pull the wires out of it. And then you just got your 10mm right here. It's just a nut on a stud. That stud stays in your intake. You can pull that up and out, and then you got access to your spark plug. And that's what I've got here for cylinder number 3. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way back. So that's cylinder 1. This one I've got right here. This is the coil that I've got out. You can see down in there. This is my spark plug socket. I just got it running through here. And it goes on the plug there. I already broke this one loose. You should be able to turn it by hand after you get it broke loose. It may be a little stuck, but usually you can turn them by hand. To get to cylinder 3, and I think also number 1 over here, or number 2 I mean, you have to disconnect these, which this little clamp thing here, your AC just sits in there, these lines do. And then you can just, it kind of pops open. I'll just show you with this one down here. So this kind of clamps around your 2 lines. It's just like a little click right there. Clicks together. And then you see it sticks out there. It just clicks together. You can stick a screwdriver in behind that, and then you'll be able to just turn it and get that to pop off. This one was right there on this side. It held in those lines. You got to take it off to get to number 3. But you can just get that to pop off. Well, yeah, you probably will have to take off this bracket too on this side. I'll just call it the airbox bracket because that's pretty much what it is. Just holds that. And then once you get that, you can get 1, 2, 3. You probably can get number 4. You might have to disconnect some of that there on your throttle body. You can get 5, 6, or well, 2, 6, and I think you can get 8 back there too. It's that one way back there. It's kind of hard to see, but should just be able to wiggle these lines some and get them out the way enough to get to that. But that's pretty much all you'll have to take off. And then there is number 7, all the way in the back there. 7, 5, 3, and 1. And then 2, 4, 6, and then 8 all the way back there. That's where they all are. You may just have to take off some wires and stuff. But I wouldn't try to disconnect vacuum hoses. Like, especially that one there. That one looks like a big one that would just crack. So if I was you, I wouldn't try to do that. Like with the airbox here, you can bend them a little. Just don't like bend it real hard because you don't want to break those. I think this one's just the whole PCV system. And your PCV valve is actually down here, kind of. If there's your filter and it's down there, it's right pretty much on the side of your oil filler tube. But get this one out real quick. You'll also want to make sure you blow out the holes with an air compressor. Mostly once you get your coil pack out, but I would loosen the plug about halfway and then do it again. And maybe even again just before you pull it out. You want to blow the air directly into that hole, because otherwise it could just move stuff around it, and then you'll just have stuff falling down in there. But whenever you get these out, I have a bore scope here. Should be able to show you guys what it looks like in the cylinders. This one is magnetic. If you don't have a magnetic spark plug socket, you might have a tough time doing this. But there it is. Just pulled this one out. And this plug, it looks all right. I mean, obviously it's pretty old, could have used changing, but it's really not bad. Another thing you want to check is you want your plugs generally to have the same part number. So this is the second one that I've taken out. I've done this job before. This was the first one for cylinder 1. This is not the right plug. This is the number. You got these on Amazon actually. But I'll open one up here real quick. This one that I'm gonna put back in. This is the part number that you want. RC12MCC4. Make sure you get the copper plugs. If you get iridium ones, it won't run right. It can just cause problems, misfires and all that. And you do want to gap them to 40 thousandths. If you don't have a gapping tool, O'Reilly's has them. They're like $1.40 or something. But these say they come at 40 thousandths. I wouldn't trust it. Just get a gapper coin from O'Reilly's or somewhere else. Pretty cheap, and it'll be good to help you out. On the set of plugs, actually on another truck, they were more than triple the gap almost. They were at about 100 thousandths. That was way too much, but this one looks good. So I'm gonna stick it in the socket here, magnetic socket. And if you drop it on the end, you want to re-gap it because it'll move. Then so we're gonna put this one back. Actually, use the bore scope real quick and show you guys what it looks like down in there. when you go to tighten down your plugs, you want to bottom them out. So all the way down where it's not really going to turn anymore, just on its own. And then read your manual, but usually it's either a 1/16 or an 1/8, maybe even a 1/4 turn. This one, I believe it was a 1/4 turn almost, or 1/8 I mean, or a 1/16. It really depends on the plugs, because they do have a crush washer on them. That's pretty much all there is to tighten it. And then you just drop your coil back in there. There's the plug, new one. And then you get your coil, get that back in there. And then usually you should put some like dielectric grease in the end of the coil to keep water and stuff out, but it really doesn't matter that much. You do want to make sure that you get this back over that stud right there so you can tighten it down. That'll also put it at the right angle for the connector here. This is the one that I took off. It just goes on the end there. You want to push it all the way down. It's going to kind of click and bottom out. And then you get the little nut here. It goes on the end. Don't drop it now. You'll never see it again. 10mm anyways. But get that on there. Tighten that down. And then you just tighten that with a wrench. You don't need deep sockets like this. You could use a regular one like I did to at least take it out. You don't really need one putting it in either. It's just easier. It is also easier if you have it like on an extension, kind of like this here. This is my spark plug socket though. This end is like a swivel, but you could just use a regular extension with a 10 on the end. And then that will do just fine getting those out. And then also before you put your coil in, you want to blow it out again just to be safe. There are rubber seals on the coils. If your coil's failing, you should replace it. Usually you can have a scanner and it'll tell you which cylinder is misfiring. Usually it's a coil or a spark plug problem. But yeah. And then you can put all this back the same way you took it off. If you do forget, you should record yourself taking everything off or where it all goes, if you don't think you're gonna remember it right. But oh, you might also have a connector there on the intake tubing. You don't want to touch that sensor in there. I think that's the mass airflow sensor. You don't want to touch that, it'll mess it up. Oil on your hands. But yeah, you just disconnect that. You got a connector there. You just put all that together.